The following story has been brought to you by StoriesToInspire.org.
I want to share with you a very, very fascinating story that involved Rabbi Wallerstein with my family. This happened, I believe, 2 years after I met him, 2009. So I'll tell you what the story was. A number of years ago, I had a cousin that unfortunately was in a tragic car accident, and she lost her life at the age of 12. So every year, the family would try to do something. You do a seudah, or you sponsor a shiur, you sponsor Divrei Torah, you do Torah projects in memory of the girl that passed away. So I believe it was 2009 or 2010. The family asked me to invite Rabbi Wallerstein to give a shiur in her memory. The date of her yortzeit was Chaf Be'av, the 20th day of Av. He said, Ilan, please book the 20th day of Av. Let's make a shiur in her memory. No problem. I asked my brother Yaniv to please reach out to Rabbi Wallerstein, book him for that date. Yaniv reaches the rabbi, and Baruch Hashem, he looks at the schedule. Perfect. 20th day of Av happened to be a Sunday night that year. We're booked to speak over here for Chazak in memory of this girl. Morai v'Rabotai, I would say a few days later, Rabbi Wallerstein calls back Yaniv and says, listen, Sunday night not going to work for me. Why not? He says, listen, I have another thing that's scheduled. I have to push you up to Monday. Anyone that knows Yaniv, he just agreed, okay, no problem, Rabbi, Monday night. Yaniv called me to tell me, I'm like, Yaniv, are you serious? The yortzeit Sunday night. How'd you agree to push it to Monday night? Okay, Ilan, you speak to the rabbi. Okay. I tried to call him, I couldn't reach him for a day or two. Finally, he calls me back. I said, Rabbi, how are you? Baruch Hashem. I said, listen, Rabbi, we agreed a few days ago, Sunday night, 20th of Av, you're doing a shiur in memory of my cousin. And Yaniv said he wanted to switch it to Monday. Can we move it back to Sunday? He's like, Ilan, how do you tell me? I already told the other people I'm okay for Sunday. I moved you guys to Monday. I said, Rabbi, you're putting us in a very tough predicament. A yortzeit is a yortzeit. People want to do it on the same night, at the right time, so we got to find a solution. So Rabbi Wallerstein thinks for a moment, like, Ilan, I have a great idea. Yes, Rabbi, what's your idea? He says, August time, Av is in the month of August usually. Shkia, sunset is very late, around 8 p.m. So let's do the shiur on Monday night, but we'll start before sunset. We'll start at 7 o'clock or 7:30. I said, Rabbi, you're a genius. But there's only one problem. Like, what's the problem? I said, Rabbi, let's be honest with each other. We've known each other for a couple of years now. You always come late to our classes. He said, Rabbi, 1 second. He said, you tell me I come late? He said, you know that your Sephardic crowd comes even later. And then he gives me a whole story about a wedding he went to in the Syrian community, and the Chatan and Kala came 3 hours after the time of the chuppah. So I said, Rabbi, you know what? I think I agree and you agree that there's a problem here. So why would you think we're going to start before Shkia, before sunset? It's not going to happen. Our community is awful. You're great, but sometimes you could be late. Right? It's just not going to work out. We're not going to make the break-off point. He says, Ilan, I'm telling you that day. You tell me the time, 7 or 7:30. We're starting sharp. Tell people Ashkenazi time. The second the time starts, I'm going to be there. Rabbi, no problem. Let's shake on it. Over the phone. I call up the family, I explain to them the situation. Obviously it's not easy, but they had no choice. They agreed to it. Baruch Hashem. Monday night, we'll do it. It's still her yortzeit, 20th of Av. We'll start at around 7:30. Rabotai, another 2 weeks goes by, and now we're ready the Shabbat before the event. The Shabbat before the yortzeit. And Rabbi Wallerstein contacts Yaniv again, and he tells Yaniv that, listen, we're going to have to move the class from Monday night to Tuesday night. So Yaniv, after I give him the beatdown the last time, he's like, wait, Rabbi, you got to speak to my brother first. I'm putting him on the line right now. And Bemet, he puts me on the line, and they tell me the situation. I said, Kvod Harav, I said, Rabbi, this is already pushing it. Remember the yortzeit Sunday night, we moved it to Monday evening. How are we going to push it to Tuesday? I'm like, what's the reason? What happened? Like, last minute, you're making this change. He says, Rabbi, I apologize, but I had to push it to Tuesday. I'm like, can you just tell me the reason? He said, the reason is because I just found out that same night, in Queens, very close to you guys, a colleague of mine is giving a shiur for women only. if I have a shir that same night, I'm scared I might affect his shul. I don't want to ruin his class and the program taking place in that other shul. So I beg of you, let's move it to Tuesday night. I said, Rabbi, I know you don't want to affect that shul, but you have a family that's going to be affected here as well. You push off the your side. How do I reconcile that fact? He says, Ilan, I'll tell you a story. He says, you should know that when my father passed away, Rabbi Wallerstein says, he wanted to daven for the Amud. He wanted to be chazan in shul. And there's different rules in halakha as to who gets first dibs. And based on the scenario that took place over there, Rabbi Wallerstein had the zechut to be the chazan in the shul to say the Kaddish and run the tefillah. But there was an older fellow in that same shul that wanted to also be the chazan, to be the Shliach Tzibur, and to say the Kaddish. So Rabbi Wallerstein said, hey, he's within the 30 days of his father, Rabbi Wallerstein. Should I give it up? Should I not give it up? It's really mine according to halakha. So he called up his Rabbi, Rav Gamliel Rabinovich, a big tzaddik from Yerushalayim. He says, Rabbi, what's the right thing for me to do? And the rabbi told Rabbi Wallerstein the following. He says, think for a moment. What's going to be better for the neshama of your father in heaven? You being chazan and saying the Kaddish while the other guy who's older than you is feeling a little bad? Or you giving up what's rightfully yours and giving it to the other person? What do you think is better? Rabbi Wallerstein got the message. He told me, Ilan, I gave it over to that guy even though I had every right according to halakha to be the chazan. So he said, the truth is, I'm telling you right now, you're 100% right. Your shir should be on Monday night. But, I'm telling you, just tell the family, if they move it to Tuesday night, it's much better for her and the Shemai for the zechut of their family. He really got to my heart and I agreed. But once I hung up, I'm like, oh my God, how did I agree to this? Like, how am I going to explain it to them now? You're thinking, how do you explain it? It's hard. It's something that's very emotional. And Hashem gave me the strength. I gave the call. I said, listen, something just popped up with the rabbi. It's not going to work out this Monday before Shkia, like we agreed. We're pushing off the Tuesday, but you don't realize it's Sechar and Shamayim for our family to agree to this, not to make machloket, not to hurt someone's feelings, to have shalom ve'achdut. It's going to be even greater. Can we do it on Tuesday night? And listen, they agreed. Reluctantly they agreed, but said, yeah, Bezrat Hashem, but no problem, let's move over to Tuesday night. I was very shocked. I was scared they might, someone might come after you. I haven't met Levi that day, Chab Shalom. But Baruch Hashem, they agreed, but Simcha Rabbah, they said this is Min Hashamayim. I remember the words, Min Hashamayim, just do it. So we made new flyers before Shabbat, lecture moved to Tuesday night. Now, Rabotai, in my heart, I feel like, it hurts. But listen, it is what it is, all Min Hashamayim. What happens is, comes the day of the Yortzeit, the eve of the Yortzeit, Sunday, the family goes to her kever, to her grave. You go, you read Tehillim, different things to do with the neshama, and you say Kaddish. Ladies and gentlemen, as we're standing by her grave, we noticed something very interesting. We thought she passed away Chaf Be'av, the 20th of Av. I'm looking at it says Chaf Bet Av, 22nd of Av. Chaf Av was Sunday night. Chaf Bet Av, 22nd Av was Tuesday night. That means that all this drama worked out exactly to the day of her Yortzeit. Couldn't believe it. Maybe I wasn't king, switch the tombstones, switch the dates, this can't be. The Rabotai, mamash, a miracle that we saw. I couldn't reach him right away, but the day of the shiur, I said, Rabbi, you got to hear this before the shiur. Now when he comes into the shiurim here, it's packed, people coming to him, Rabbi, I have a question, I have this, so I couldn't give him all the details properly, because he wasn't able to follow. But as he's listening to the story, he was just amazed. He froze. He mamash froze. He stood there frozen. He couldn't say anything. So I said, Rabbi, the Sfaradim have Baba Sali. Maybe we could create a Baba Zachi, Zachariah, He's like, nah, I don't like that. Wallerstein, maybe Baba Wali. He's like, nah, I don't like that either. Then he jokingly says, how about Baba Zwali? We could combine the two names together. But after we made that joke with each other, he had a tear in his eyes. He says, Rabbi Ilan, I want you to know one thing. The one lesson I learned from this story, he tells me, because trust me, he felt uncomfortable as well, is that one thing I learned from here is that when you're trying to do shalom, you're trying to make someone feel better, like their family agreed, in order not to hurt the other shield. You're trying to make someone feel better, there is no way you're going to lose in life. That's the lesson we got from this story.
Enjoyed this story? Come again. Bring a friend. StoriesToInspire.org